Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make this lovely cotton bag. It works perfect as a project bag, a shopping bag, works great for the farmer's market. It measures about 17 inches long and about 20 inches around. Now, the neat thing about this bag is it's made out of cotton, and you can use any colors of cotton that you want. Now, I used 3 different colors on this one to make it look stripy. But this one here, I used all my leftover cottons. You can see it's got all different shades and, you know, variegated and things. So it's a great way to use up some of your leftover cottons. I also made this one a little bit shorter because I thought this would be good to put a couple of skeins or balls of yarn in and take my projects with me when I go places. What you're going to need is your J-hook. Today we're using our J-hook. And you're going to need a needle for weaving in your ends. And of course a pair of scissors. And for today's demonstration I'm going to be using a teal and this it's a variegated, but it's a long variegated. The stripes are real long. It's called Country Stripes. These are both sugar and cream cottons. Now you can use any cottons that you have. Hobby Lobby has a great, I love this cotton that makes a really nice soft bag. And I think, who is the other one? It might be Joann's that I really like their cotton as well. But any cottons will work. And like I said, you can even make one like this one where you use up all your scraps of cotton. Now, I have been asked, because this is an older pattern, it's on my blog, it's called the Round Bottom Cotton Shopping Bag. And I have been asked, can I make this out of worsted weight? And you certainly can. You can use worsted weight number 4. It won't be cotton, but it will make a nice bag. So you can substitute worsted weight number 4 if you want to. Now, you can really substitute any yarn that you want. Just make sure that, like if you're going to use a chunky, remember it's going to be bigger. And make sure you change your hook size to correspond with the yarn that you choose. And most yarns have a recommended hook size with their yarns. So we're going to get started. Go grab you some cotton and your J-hook, and we'll get started on our project. To make the bag as written, you're going to need 2 of the sugar and creams, or about 5 ounces of yarn. And for today's project, I'm going to use the solid teal to do the bottom portion of the bag and the top portion where the handle is. And then I'm going to use this variegated yarn for the center portion. Let me move this one out of the way and we'll get started here. To begin with, the first thing you need to do is make your slip knot and chain 4. Now I know that the J-hook usually isn't the size hook that you use with this cotton yarn, but I chose to design this pattern with the J-hook because I wanted it to be a little more open and airy to work great for a farmer's market bag. Alright, so we chained 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to place 11 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. And this first 3 chains are going to count as our first double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go in that 4th chain, and make a double crochet. And then we're going to place 10 more double crochets in this chain for a total of 12 double crochets. Again, by using the J-hook, it makes it a little bit looser and more open, and it works great for a farmer's market bag, a shopping bag, project bag. Just remember, if you're going to use it as your project bag, you need to have your hooks and your supplies in another container inside there, which I usually do. All right, let's see how many we have. Here's our chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need to do some more. This is 9. 10, 11, and 12, because we want 12 double crochets for the beginning. Now you'll notice there's a hole in there. Don't worry, we're going to come back and use the tail of our yarn to close that up. So we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's 12. Roll out my yarn. Now we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets, which will give us a total of 24. So we have our chain 3. We're going to put another double crochet in that same space as our chain 3. And then we're going to put 2 double crochets in each double crochet around our circle. And this is forming the bottom of our bag so it's nice and round. And you'll continue to put 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, and then we'll join to the top of that chain 3, and that will give us 24 double crochets. I stitched 2 double crochets in each double crochet around, and now I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now at this point, before I do the next row, I go ahead and fix that hole. So I'm just going to make sure my loop is big enough so it doesn't come undone. Take my hook out and then take my needle and thread that yarn that we started with on there. And what we're going to do is just go around those stitches from the first row, going underneath them, because basically we're going to just gather them up. There we go. And I'm using a pretty good needle. When you use a pretty good size needle, sometimes it's blunt and you have a little trouble getting through. But I wanted to make sure that my yarn could get through the eye of that needle. So you can see as I've gone around, I've gently tugged on it, and I usually go around twice just to make sure it's going to stay put. And it's really important on the bag because you don't want your stuff falling out of the bottom of your bag. So once I get around it twice, I go up a couple of those loops stitches there at the bottom, and I go and turn back the other direction and just stitch a few more stitches. And that's going to keep it nice and tight and nice and snug. And then I just clip that off. So now there's no hole in the bottom of our bag. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to doing row 3. My hook in there. Now for row 3, we want to have a total of 36 double crochets. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So we'll be doing 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, all the way around. 1 double crochet in the next double crochet. Get me a little more yarn here. And then 2 double crochets in the next double crochet. And by doing 1 and 2, we're going to get 36 double crochets around this row. So we're increasing by 12 for the whole row. And this is going to give us a nice round bottom bag. So 1 double crochet in the first, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, all the way around, and then we'll join again to the top of that chain 3. So I finished up row 3. I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And just in case you're wondering, through this whole thing, the chain 3 does count as your first double crochet. All right, so the next row we want to continue to increase. And so we're going to do similar, only we're going to, the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So then we're going to go and do a double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the next. And the way this row works is 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then the next 2 double crochets we double crochet 1 time. So we're doing 2 and 2. And this will give us an increase for 48 double crochets. So you have 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we will repeat this all the way around. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we'll continue to repeat this all the way around like we did before, and we'll join to the top of that chain 3. So a quick repeat, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and repeat that all the way around and join to the top of our chain 3. So that's our first 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. We're going to do 1 more row, but if you're worried at this point that your bag is flat as a pancake, it's supposed to be. All right, so we have 48 stitches on our 4th row, and now we're going to do our 5th row. And the way we do our 5th row, we join to the top of our chain 3, then we chain 3, and we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches because our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And then we're going to put 2 double crochets. And so we're continuing to increase, but we have more stitches in between. Whoops, my wrapper's chasing me down. So the way this row will go is 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And this is the last row for forming the bottom of our round bottom bag. So I placed 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then I placed 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 2 double crochets and that in the next stitch, and then 1, 2, 3 double crochets in the next 1, 2, 3 stitches. And we'll do this again all the way around, and we'll join to the top of that chain 3. And then I'm going to show you how to change colors if you want to change colors, because I'm going to be using my variegated for the body of my bag. So I finished my row, and at this point around you should have 60 double crochets. And so I'm going to cut my yarn because I'm going to change colors. Of course, if you're not changing colors, don't cut your yarn. All right, so now I'm going to join in my next color. So I'm going to put my hook through, and remember, don't do your chain 3 after you join if you're changing colors. You want to change colors first and then do your chain 3. So I put my new color on my hook and I pull it through and I snug this down. Let's move those out of the way and we'll weave those in later. 1, 2, 3. Now this next row is the first row of our cross stitches, like on this one. So what we'll do is you chain 3, then you yarn over on your very first chain. You're going to go back to the stitch before your chain and stitch a double crochet, and this is going to form our first cross. And that's important because once we get all the way around and we join, we need to join to the top of that chain 3, and you'll see how that'll work when we get there. All right, so to continue on around, we won't be doing any more increases. From here on out, your total of stitches around will be 60 all the way up the bag. So we're going to skip the next double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. So put our hook in and double crochet, And now we're going to cross back to this one we just skipped. So yarn over, go in that stitch that we just skipped, and pull your loop through. Try again. There we go. Pull that loop through, and then finish your double crochet. And that formed your next cross. All right. Yarn over. We're going to skip this next stitch and double crochet in the next. And that's the way this whole row will go. We'll skip the next stitch, we'll double crochet in the next, and then we'll double crochet back in that stitch that we just skipped. Skip the next stitch, yarn over, go in the next stitch, and stitch a double crochet. Yarn over, go back and double crochet in that stitch that we just skipped. And this is how it will begin to look. These are your skip double or cross double crochet stitches. And we're going to do this all the way around, and when we get back over here we're going to join to the top of this chain. And that's why we needed a chain and go ahead and cross when we started, so that we'll have something to join back to. Let me show you a few more. So we're going to skip the next stitch. We're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to cross back and double crochet in that stitch that we just skipped. And we'll continue to do this all the way around this row. And join to the top of this chain 3. So all the way around, continue with your cross stitches. So we've done our cross stitches all the way around, and now it's time to join. And this is what I was talking about. After you do your last cross stitch, you need to make sure that you join to the top of the chain 3, and it's the chain 3 that comes behind the first cross stitch. So we're going to join to the top with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now this next row is really easy. We're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. But where it can be confusing is where to place your stitches. And so you'll see at the top, it looks like a braid. This is where you need to follow. Don't look down here because it can confuse you a little bit. So all you need to do is place 1 double crochet, just look at the top and go through that top braid on the top of each stitch, and just stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. Make sure you, like I said, stitch in these stitches at the top. It'll help you stay on. And you'll just stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and then we'll come back around and join to the top. Make sure you end with 60 double crochets. The number of stitches throughout the rest of the bag until we reach the handles is 60 stitches around. So you'll notice your bag is starting to come up, and that's what we're doing because we're not adding any more increases when our bag is starting to come up the sides. Now I went ahead and used my needle to weave in my ends where I joined my new color of yarn. And at this point in this bag, you're basically going to be repeating the cross stitch row and the double crochet row for as long as you want the bag. Now the green and rusty cream one, I did more rows than I did on this one. This one I did less rows. So it's up to you how long you want your bag to be. If you want your bag to be the size of the rusty one, you're going to repeat this up through row 27. So basically, if you look at this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, looks like 8 repeats. But it's totally up to you how many times you want to repeat the bag. So you're going to repeat the cross stitch row and the double crochet, alternating rows up through row 27. So now I need to get started again on my cross stitch row. And remember, you're going to stay with 60 stitches on each row, whether it's the cross stitch row or the double crochet, all the way up through the bag until we get to the handle portion. So I did my chain 3. I'm going to cross back and double crochet for my first cross stitch. And then I've skipped the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch. And double crochet in the stitch that I just skipped. And so I'm repeating my cross stitch row, and then I'll repeat the double crochet rows. And I will do this for as long as I want my bag. And once I get the length on my bag, I'll show you how to do the handle portion. So I repeated my double crochet and my cross stitch rows, alternating every other row until it's as long as I want it. And I did this one just a little bit shorter. And we want to make sure that when we finish our repeat rows that we end our last row on a cross stitch row. And the reason we need to do that is where we put our drawstring. So now I'm going to show you how to do the handles. So basically our bag is going to sit this way, and this is where we're going to do a cross. And what we're going to do is we're going to change from doing double crochets to doing single crochets. So we're going to place one single crochet in each of the stitches around. And again, we're going to go from the top and just look at those, I call them braids, but they're just the tops of the stitches that look like a braid. We're going to place one single crochet in each single crochet around. Now I did change back to my solid blue color, my teal, because I wanted my drawstring portion to start with the teal color. So I'm going to place one single crochet in each double crochet around. So we did one row of the single crochet, and now it's time to put our handles on. So we're working from the side. We're going to place one single crochet in the first 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some more yarn here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did 10 single crochets, and now we're going to chain for 20 chains. 1, 2, 3. Get in there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have our 10 single crochets. We chained 20. We're going to skip the next 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to go in the next stitch with a single crochet. All right, so now I'm going to move my bag a little, and we're going to stitch 20 single crochets. So we did 10 single crochets. we chained 20 chains, we skipped 10 single crochets, and we joined to the next single crochet with a single crochet. Then we did a total of 20 single crochets across, and now we're going to do the second handle. So we're going to chain 20 again. We're going to skip 10 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and single crochet in the next stitch. And then we'll single crochet in these last 10 stitches and join to that first single crochet. Now, before we go on to the next row, it's a good idea to make sure that your handles are centered, because with working the stitches here, it's very easy to add or subtract by accident stitches. And so, because you want 10 stitches here, 10 stitches here, and 10 stitches here. And that's why we did 20 here, because it's 10, 10, and 10, with our 20 chaining for our handles. All right, so the next row, what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 single crochet in each single crochet and 1 single crochet in each of the chains in the handles. So basically, we're stitching 1 single crochet in each single crochet end in each chain around. Now when you're doing the handles, you're stitching your single crochets in this chain of 20, and you need to make sure that you only do 20 single crochets. Sometimes when you're working in a chain, it can be a little bit confusing and you end up adding or subtracting a single crochet. So just be careful, make sure you only stitch 20 single crochets in the handle portion when you're stitching in the chains. So we did our single crochets in each single crochet and in our handles, and this last row, all we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each single crochet around and then tie off. And once we get this last row done, I'll show you how to make the drawstring. We finished the handles and the band, and if you want this to be a little bit thicker, you can certainly add as many rows of single crochet as you want to. I like 2 rows. I think it's nice and sturdy. It needs to be heavy enough to carry, a head of lettuce and a couple of oranges and some bananas. And fruit can get pretty heavy. All right, so the last thing, you can add a drawstring if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So all you do is you take your yarn and you chain 90 chains. And what I do on the ends is I just make a little knot so that it's not going to come out. Give it a little tug and clip that extra piece of yarn off. And now we're going to put this in the top of the bag. And we're going to do it going through these holes made by this last row of our cross stitch pattern. So what I do is, you can feed it through with your fingers if you want to, but I just kind of, use my crochet hook. Let me go down one more. There we go. And I go in and out like this. And then I can pull it through quite a few at a time if I do it right. But really, you're just going in and out these holes made where we made the last row of our cross stitch row. And we'll go do that all the way around till we get back to the front, and then we'll just draw it up together. I'm going to go ahead and use my fingers just because I've got the end on this hook and it's getting in the way with drawing it through. And it doesn't really take very long. See, I'm almost done. Now you can make your drawstring as long as you want. And I even have a friend who adds a piece of corded elastic in her drawstrings so that she can put it in and tie it and it stays put, but she can still open it. So I thought that was a neat idea. I have not tried it. So you want to try to center your drawstring in between your handles. And then just tie a bow. And it's up to you how tight you want it. And when I'm out at the farmer's market, I like my bag to be a little bit closed so that I don't have anyone reaching in by accident. I don't want anybody stealing my tomatoes and cucumbers, okay? So there's our bag with the drawstring, and like I said, you can make it as long as you want. Some people just tie a knot in the end and just pull it, and then when they open it, it opens, and then they pull it again. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. And I really love how this bag turned out. Isn't that adorable? So now I've got 3 bags ready, and I need to go shopping.